Hi guys, so I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk you through our QSR system. It's a really good system that probably a lot of people, including myself before I joined M&B, weren't really used to using. So this is essentially a digital version of the old-fashioned tickets that we used to get through, and it's a really useful tool. What it does is it enables us to let the system do the work for us. So things will drop on in the order that we need to cook them in, and what this does is it has a really good impact on both productivity, service time and food quality. So there's several different screens within use within our kitchens. We're going to start off with the Expo screen. So this screen is only for use by the guest service team, so that's front of house only. The back of house team have no reason to look at this screen whatsoever. What the information that's made available on this screen is the full ticket. So the time that it's been on, the individual items that are on the ticket, and the name of the server that processed the ticket. Each individual menu item will be highlighted in a different colour. So if the item is highlighted in black on this screen, it means that it hasn't dropped onto the back of house team, so they are not able to see this item, which means they don't need to start cooking it yet. If the dish is highlighted in white, it means that it has dropped on to the relevant section, but the chef hasn't yet started to cook it. If the items are highlighted in blue, it means that the dish has dropped onto the relevant kitchen section and it's underway. The chefs have already started to cook and prepare the meal. If it's highlighted in green, that means it's cooked, it's perfectly plated, and it's on the pass, ready. The top of the ticket will change wording and colour to show us, as a front of house team, how much time has lapsed since the order being processed until the current point. So at the top of the ticket, if it says normal, that means it's well within its cooking time. The chefs are cooking it and there's no real rush. Everything's all underway as it should be. As we're nearing the time when the dishes should be ready to plate up, the top of that bar will turn to yellow and the wording will change to priority. Once the bar on the ticket turns to a burgundy colour, that means that the table has been on for over 20 minutes, and the wording at the top of the bar will change to rush. This might be a really good time for your person on Expo to just really politely have a conversation with the chefs to get some sort of idea on how long this table might be. When the chef has finished plating that ticket, it will turn green. The top of the bar will say ready. That's the front of house team's indication to know that that's ready to go. So just one last final check with the chefs and we can start to run the food to our guests. So now we're going to move on and we're going to talk about our cooking screens. There'll be two cooking screens in your kitchen, one on starters and one on mains. Each dish has got a cooking time built into it that relates to when it drops on the screen. So it will only drop onto this screen when you need to start cooking that dish. Each dish item shows the name of the dish, the table number, and any special instructions. So it might be an allergy weight, right through to how do we want our steak cooked. The timer will only start on these dishes when we press cook. So once the system knows that we're cooking the first dish that's dropped on, the countdown will then begin in readiness for the next dish that we need to start to cook. The display screen shows the time that that particular dish has been on your screen. When the item is cooked and perfectly plated to spec, we need to press bump on the bar below the screen. This will then remove it from your cook screen and highlight it green over on the Expo side. If we have a main course order that's previously had starters, the dish will not appear on the main screen until it has been bumped off the starter screen and already taken to the guest. So if we've had an item drop on and I've already started to cook the dish, I need to tell the system I'm doing so. And I do that by pressing the cook button on the top left hand side. Once I've cooked and perfectly plated a dish, I'm going to press bump to let the front of house and the expo screen know that that dish is green and therefore ready. If I just want to navigate my way around the items that are on the screen, I'm going to use these cursor buttons, so it's just an up and a down arrow. Now during peak times, if I want to drop on to the last dish that's come onto the screen, rather than using the cursor to go up and down, I can simply press this non-cooking button here. During those times in trade where I've got more than one page of meals onto my screen, I can use the page up and page down buttons here. If I want to see, just to have a double check, maybe on my char grill or in my fryer, if I just want to see exactly how much of each dish I need to be cooking at the time, I can press this item summary button here. If I've accidentally bumped off a dish that I haven't finished plating, I can then press this recall button here. That allows me to scroll up and down to everything that I've bumped off, so I can bring back onto the screen anything that I may have bumped off in error. So chefs, now I'm going to talk you through our plating screen. Now, not all of our businesses have one of these. It's just the real high volume sites. And this really comes into its own when we're at peak. So when our cook screen is 2 or 3 deep, this is when this one really comes into its own. So orders will drop on to the plating screen 4 minutes before they should be ready to go. And what this does is this allows us to group everything together. Sometimes at peak it can be a little bit difficult when using the cook screen to understand what should be going with what. So this groups the tickets together, and it just shows you the ones that are 4 minutes away from completion. So when all of the dishes that are highlighted within that table column, when everything's ready and perfectly plated to spec and looking fantastic, that's when we need to press the bump. And again, that will remove it from our plating screen and it will turn the expo screen green, so the front of house team will know those dishes are ready to go out and really wow our guests.